What's up, WWE fans? You're watching Wrestling Edge Files, where every slam and surprise matters. Subscribe now and let's roll in. You've got to be kidding me. Paul Heyman, the same man who just got demolished and embarrassed by Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed, is now reportedly trying to recruit Brock Lesnar to lead the Vision into Survivor Series WarGames 2026. Yes, that's right. The same Paul Heyman, whose faction just collapsed in spectacular fashion, is already rebuilding the ruins, calling it a comeback. It's almost poetic, almost predictable, and absolutely infuriating. This is Heyman doing what Heyman always does, refusing to take accountability, refusing to evolve, and going right back to his favourite playbook: manipulation and control. And what's more shocking is that Brock Lesnar, the man who's had his fair share of complicated history with Heyman, is apparently listening. If this report is true, it's either one of the boldest moves WWE has made in years, or the setup for another Heyman-led implosion. The reported plan: Vision 2.0. Let's break down exactly what's being reported. Multiple insider sources with proven track records claim that Paul Heyman has reached out to Brock Lesnar about leading a reformed version of the Vision. The plan supposedly revolves around Brock as the leader, the unstoppable force, the centerpiece, the weapon that can't fail. Around him, Heyman reportedly wants to build a team designed to complement Brock's strengths: a returning legend, a current roster member dissatisfied with their position, a dominant NXT call-up, and one or two surprise names. The timing is also strategic. Survivor Series WarGames 2026 would serve as the grand reintroduction, the faction's coming-out party. 2 rings, 1 cage, total chaos. If this is real, Heyman is essentially rewriting history. His message seems to be: the Vision didn't fail because I was wrong, it failed because I didn't have the right leader. That's a classic Heyman move. Reframing failure as circumstance, not flaw. And in true Paul Heyman fashion, his alleged pitch to Brock was pure manipulation magic. "You and I conquered WWE before," he reportedly told him. Brock and Heyman, a complicated history. To understand why this potential reunion is so controversial, you have to look at the history between these two. Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman have been one of the most successful partnerships in wrestling history. Together, they changed WWE forever. Heyman was the mouthpiece, the strategist, the chessmaster. Brock was the unstoppable beast who turned dominance into art. But their relationship hasn't always been smooth. There's been tension, betrayal, and distance over the years. They've broken up, reunited, and broken up again. Sometimes it's business, sometimes it feels personal. Most recently, Brock has operated independently, proving he doesn't need Heyman to stay relevant or dominant. So why would Brock return to that dynamic now? There are a few theories. Maybe Brock wants to control the situation this time, flip the script, and make Heyman work for him. Maybe he sees Heyman's strategic brilliance as an asset to extend his legacy. Or maybe, and this is the dangerous one, Brock is being manipulated again, walking straight into another cycle of control. There's also a fourth theory, that Brock's playing the long game, using Heyman to build the faction only to destroy it from within. The bigger picture: Roman Reigns and the WarGames. Setup. Here's where things get even more interesting. Reports suggest that the WarGames match would pit Roman Reigns and his team against Brock's reformed Vision. On paper, it's perfect symmetry. Roman knows Heyman better than anyone. His former wise man, his confident turned betrayer. Roman also has a storied past with Brock. Their matches are legendary, their rivalry eternal. A WarGames showdown between these two forces would be epic. But there's one major question: is Roman even active? The last we heard, Roman was stepping away, possibly retired. If this report is true, it might mean that retirement was part of a larger story. A smokescreen for a dramatic return. Roman coming back to lead a team against Heyman's new creation would be poetic justice. Imagine the possibilities. Roman leading the Bloodline 2.0 with Solo Sikoa, Jimmy Uso, and maybe even Jacob Fatu, joined by someone like Seth Rollins or Cody Rhodes. That mix of loyalty, history, and grudges would make for perfect long-term storytelling. But the question remains, does WWE risk revealing the destination too early? Announcing a WarGames main event almost 2 years in advance is risky. Momentum can fade, injuries can happen, and creative directions can shift. Long-term storytelling is rare in wrestling because it's fragile, but when it works, it's magic. The meta story. Paul Heyman's endless cycle. This isn't the first time Paul Heyman has rebuilt after failure. It's almost his defining trait, constant reinvention, endless reassembly of broken parts. ECW, The Dangerous Alliance, The Bloodline, The Vision. Every era has had a version of Heyman constructing empires that eventually collapse under their own weight. He tweaks the formula each time, but the core never changes. Control through manipulation, power through strategy. Heyman's story is one of brilliance and blindness. He's a genius storyteller, a visionary booker, a master of the mic. But within that genius lies his fatal flaw. He never truly learns. He adapts tactics, not values. He rebuilds, but never reforms. And that's what makes this rumoured storyline so compelling. Maybe this isn't just about Brock or Roman. Maybe it's about Heyman himself. A man trapped in his own patterns, repeating history until it destroys him, or finally redeems him. If WWE leans into that meta-narrative, it could become Heyman's most powerful story ever. Either he finally proves that manipulation can work when guided by the right leader, the business side, risk and reward. From a business perspective, this move makes sense, and also scares me to death. Brock Lesnar leading a faction, that's instant buzz. It would dominate headlines, break the internet, and spike ratings. The merchandising potential alone would be huge. Vision 2.0 shirts, Lesnar-led chaos, WarGames promotion. Survivor Series 2026 could become WWE's second biggest event after WrestleMania if this story catches fire. But that's the key word. If. Because the same strengths that make this angle exciting also make it volatile. If it fails, Heyman's credibility as a faction architect could take another massive hit. Fans are already skeptical. They've seen Heyman factions rise and fall too many times. If Vision 2.0 crashes like the original, audiences may stop buying into his comebacks altogether. That said, WWE thrives on spectacle and controversy. Even the risk of failure is part of the appeal. Heyman and Brock together again guarantees unpredictability, and unpredictability is the lifeblood of wrestling. From a creative standpoint, the final word: destiny or disaster. So here's where I land on all this. Do I believe Paul Heyman is recruiting Brock Lesnar for Vision 2.0? Possibly. It sounds exactly like something Heyman would do. Strategic, ambitious, and reckless all at once. If it's true, is Brock making a mistake? Maybe not. He's smarter and more self-aware than most give him credit for. But working with Heyman always comes with strings attached, and history shows those strings eventually tighten. Would a Brock-led vision succeed where the original failed? It could, if Heyman steps back and lets Brock truly lead. But can Heyman actually let go of control? That's the million-dollar question. Should Survivor Series WarGames 2026 be the culmination of this story? Absolutely. It's the perfect battleground for chaos and closure.